Everybody, welcome to another George Crafts tutorial. Thank you for coming and joining us again today. I am going to walk you through how to make a card with the background that I showed you how to do in the inking techniques video. It's going to be similar to the card that I made over the weekend, maybe a couple of little differences. I've got a different bee stamp with me today because I can't find the one I used the weekend, but it's still just as cute. So what we've got with us is some StazOn black ink, an acrylic stamping block, two stamps. One's a hexagon which came from Doocraft's geometric capsule stamp set. And this is a stamp from a magazine, and I honestly can't remember who made it. I've got some foam pads, card blank, scissors, double-sided tape, some glitter tape, some stick-on gems, and this is a scrap card which has got the same colour tones blended onto it. I did that in advance because you don't want to watch me do that. So we get started. First thing I'd like to do is stamp onto my background. So I'm going to start stamping with the hexagon. I did some stamping top tips earlier, and take a look at that video if you haven't already. It's full of tips on how to get the best result from your stamps. So ink up my stamp, and I like to sort of stamp off the edge, so it just makes it look a little bit more professional when I get started. And what I'm trying to do here is just to line up my stamps so they look like honeycomb. So you just put all the sides next to the sides and all the corners next to the corners. If you are using a permanent ink, please put down a protective surface before you stamp onto your coffee table or your dining table, or I wouldn't want to be responsible for any damage to precious furniture. So once I've done a few of my hexagons in its nice regular pattern, I might do a couple more up the side. Then it's time for me to start. I like to arrange them now so it looks like they're breaking away from the honeycomb. So don't worry about that angle anymore, just keep stamping. Of course, if you haven't got bees or, you know, gold glitter tape, you could do it with whatever stamps and shapes and colours you want to. It's just, you know, an idea, and you take from it what you want. So I've done my my stamps for my background now. I'm happy with that. What I want to do is I want to have some of, or one of these hexagons like it's coming out of the card. So what I've done is with the scrap card that's got the colours blended onto it, I'm just going to stamp another hexagon. Okay, and then I'm just going to cut that out. I'm just going to replace that little plastic cover on my ink while I'm using it. So just cut along the lines. The nice thing about stamping onto this background, that's, or the colours that are already blended, is that if I'm not going to be left with like a white edge around it, something, if I haven't sort of stayed exactly on the lines. So nearly finished with this. think on my my video for decoupage where we made a card with the free download on the website, I gave you some top tips for cutting out or for fussy cutting. So if you haven't seen that, go back and watch that. Okay, so I've cut out my spare hexagon. I know where I want to put it. I want to put it just up here. But to emphasise it, I'm going to want to put some of my glitter tape on. Before we do that, I want to add my bees, because I don't want to put my tape over my bees. So, pop our stamp on the block and just pick up the ink. And then, well, I haven't used this stamp with this ink pad before, so I can't promise it's going to turn out perfectly. Stamp my bee where I would like him to go, and I'm sort of avoiding the area around my hexagon because I don't want to end up with tape cutting off a bit of my bee. So maybe we can have one coming from here as well. Maybe one leaving the hive. Just make sure I ink that nicely. And another one on its way out up here. So we've got a nice covering of bees there. Probably on the way to find some flowers or some fruit or somebody's picnic to interrupt. So, I know where I've got my bees, I know where I want to put my hexagon. Now I just need to put my glitter tape on first. So, what I like to do is make sure I've got the bottom of my piece of card in line with one of the lines on my mat. And then when I'm putting on my glitter tape, I can follow a line up here and I know it's nice and straight. Okay, so I'm just going to press this down and then snip my tape. Lift it up. Don't worry if that happens, okay, because the reason it's not sticking is because of the dye ink. It still needs to dry, but we're going to wrap the tape around the back so we can stick it onto the back and it'll be fine there, so don't worry about that. And then find your hexagon and foam pads. Oh, I've got two there, I only want one. And just stick that on top of where you've already stamped. Okay, and then we're ready to put our picture onto our card blank. Okay. So I've cut this piece of card to the size that I wanted, and I've left sort of a little border of brown all the way around the outside, just to really make the image stand out. It's almost like a little frame, and in card making and scrapbooking we call that matting and layering. It's a really good technique to make your cards look professional. So I'm just going to fix my card on, my card front on with some double-sided tape, and that's holding down that glitter tape as well, so it's not going anywhere. So I think I've shown you this tip before, but for those that haven't seen it, when you're sticking down with things like double-sided tape, once it's on there, it's on there. if you use things like wet glue, it gives you a little bit more time to move things around if you haven't got it quite right. So if you, like me, are impatient and you want things dry and you want them dry now, you probably will go for double-sided tape. So if you're sticking down and you want it to be in an exact place, just peel up the 2 corners, so there's only a tiny bit of tape that's sticky. That way, if you stick it on and it's wrong, you can move it. I can't take credit for that tip. That's from a lady called Pauline Wheeler. She's a brilliant craft demonstrator. She loves inking and stamping, and she does a lot of demonstrating for Hunky Dory, and that's where I picked that tip up from. So I think I'm pretty happy with where I've stuck that. So then I just put my hand on top of the card so I know it's not going to move anywhere, and gently pull the backing out from underneath. And then if I wanted to, I could just put some little gems on. I'm not sure how well these will stick to the inky background, so if you need to use glue or something, Pin Flare book binding glue is great for sticking gems onto cards, but I think that looks okay. And our card is finished. I hope that you enjoyed that. I hope you have a go at home as well. If you do, send me some pictures because I really want to see them, and share your makes with us on social media. We're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook and Pinterest, as well as YouTube. Or you can always email them into the blog itself. So take care until next time. We will see you again. Bye!